What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the #1 live tuning broadcast in the automotive world. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 1. Got a lot of familiar faces in here already. So we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to go ahead, get fired up. We're going to talk about the Nova for a little bit first, then we got a big announcement. We'll do a drawing today. Also, I think we will give away maybe one of the blown pistons out of the Super Auto. It's been a while since we've given one of those away. I like to call them Kyle's Folly. And everybody who won hoodies last month, those went out in the mail today. So keep your eyes peeled. They should be showing up here soon. So Nova motor transmission, that's all in. The front end is back on the car. The painless wiring harness is installed. All the chassis wiring is done. All the lights work, surprisingly, on the first try. And we are getting ready to start doing the Terminator install. So that's going to be really cool. I'm going to go over, we're going to change some things up. So make sure, keep your eyes peeled. The headers worked perfectly. They fit perfectly. I'm so excited because that shaves so much time off at the build. And because of that, I mean, this thing's going to be ready to fire up in about a week, surprisingly. So way ahead of schedule on this thing. No drama. I mean, everything cleared. Everything cleared. They're perfect. I've got the stuff coming to build out the exhaust a little bit. So we're just, they're 3.5, they're 2 1/8 primaries into 3.5 collectors. We're just going to go 3.5 all the way back to basically some straight throughs and some turn downs. So it's going to be rowdy. It's going to be loud. I still need to get underneath there and do the rear suspension stuff. Yeah, I got plenty to do, but I'm so excited about getting this thing fired up with this big motor. So that being said, the big news, I'm super excited to announce for 2021, we have a new sponsor. HP Tuners has signed up to sponsor the garage this year. So we're going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff going on there. A lot of new content. So, I mean, just keep your eyes peeled. I'm so happy. And ecstatic we were able to come to kind of a cool agreement, specifically given that I'm not primarily focused on just HP Tuners. We do stuff with Holly and things like that, but HP Tuners is the majority of what we look into and stuff like that. So, and thanks to them, here soon we will be giving away an MPVI2 on a live stream. I'm going to do that probably in maybe 2 weeks, whenever we're about to hit 40,000 subscribers. So we'll do a 40,000 subscriber celebration, give away an MPVI2, maybe some merch, things like that. So, make sure and keep your eyes peeled for that broadcast. You don't want to miss out on that. And big shout out to HB Tuners. Oh, thanks, Jason. And check out the description. We got links to their Facebook, their YouTube webpage, and their Instagram, things like that. So go over there, drop them a subscribe on their YouTube as a way to say thanks for supporting the garage. And honestly, this is all because of you guys. And literally, as I talked to them about it, they said, your name keeps on popping up. Well, the garage, my name obviously doesn't pop up, but Go Rogue Garage keeps on popping up. Our support guys hear about it. Our sales guys hear about it. And so that is you guys, word of mouth. And that's what pushes this channel. You guys sharing this information, sharing the links, all that stuff. So thank you so much for all that. And yeah, John, that's a good point. And I've worked with those guys in the past on some stuff beforehand even. And, they're really open to suggestions and things like that. And having a contact in, is always a good thing. And so on top of it, maybe we'll look for a new platform to tune on this year. So yeah, standalone tuning rolled out yesterday. Surprised me. In fact, I shot the video. If you guys saw, I did a video on it this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. Because I was just I woke up at like 2:30 and was looking at stuff and I was like, what's going on? Then I clicked over on their website and I was like, wait a second. So Dan, you say the standalone logging is saying that you have an invalid log whenever you pull it up. Are you saving your parameter list in there? E4, I'm having issues with it going lean when I push the clutch in. That's CFCO, biker boy. So there is DFCO, which is decel fuel cutoff, and then there is clutch fuel cutoff. So check your clutch fuel cutoff. That's a good question, Scuba Sam. I've not seen the specs on how large the memory is on it, but I know that the data logs are pretty small, specifically if you narrow down the parameters. So probably going to have, plenty of room on there. Yeah, thank you, Steelers. What's going on, MK? 8 gigabyte. There you go. Nathan says there's 8 gigs of internal memory, which is, I mean, loads of internal memory for something like that. Standalone data logging. So now if you have the pro feature sets on the MPVI2, you do have to have the pro feature sets. You can plug it in without a laptop hooked up, and there's a couple different ways of doing it. You can set up some triggers, and as I said, I got a new video out this morning that talks about it, but the easy way is you can just hit the Bluetooth button. Just give it a quick tap, it starts logging, and whenever you're done, give it another tap, and it'll stop logging. The big thing that they touched on was make sure not to just unplug it or because it can get bad data if you do it that way. Or if you plug in your laptop while it's still plugged in, it will stop the data log that way. Building a new fuel pump. Running a 1.6 Miata. It's been a while since I've done anything Miata. Cold idle consistent. James, on the 1.6 Miatas, are they drive-by-wire with an IAC, or they drive-by cable with an IAC, or they drive-by-wire? RPMs are stable when warm using PID idle control. Check the, one thing on cold idle, check that your timing adjustments are not too aggressive. I would have to look at a 1.6 Miata file, but a lot of times what you can find is that the error ratio for the timing is too narrow, and so a little bit of hunt will cause too big of a timing adjustment to try and correct idle. Jacob Russo, wideband is wired through the EGR, but in VE, if I turn on my EGR, no, you shouldn't need to turn on any EGR stuff. The voltage should still read in. Cable throttle using a PWM IAC. So if you're using PID control, your derivative, you want to have that zeroed out. Your P, you want that to be the larger number between the P and the I, because that's going to be your gain. That's going to be the amount of change that it can make per scan, and then the interval is how often it scans. So lower the P down, try lowering it down. I should probably be pretty low. You want to keep that low so you're scanning quite a bit, and then you want P to be, use P to dial it in. Oh yeah, that's a lot of data logging. 8 gigs is a ton. So, let me see here. I don't think the drawing started. Let me try and start the drawing over again here. See if it kicks off this time. Give it a second before you try to enter. If you follow Gen 3 tuning videos, you definitely free up some power in a 99 to 06 Stalker. Correct. There's generally... Okay, here we go. Raffle away, people. When copying injector data from DW website, the data doesn't copy exact. Okay. Shane, what that is that your resolution on your editor is lower than it is in the spreadsheet. And so you have 3 decimal places and the spreadsheet has probably 5. And so it is just rounding up. If you were to expand out the decimal places on the editor, it would be the actual number in there. So don't worry about that. That's totally normal. What do you think about oilless turbos? I don't. That's interesting. I mean, are they just self-contained? How do they work? This is new to me, Fast Hippo. There you go, biker boy. That should get you sorted out. I probably didn't touch on that in the video for the 4th and 5th generation stuff about CFCO because it's been so long since I've tuned a manual. Do you know if there's a time limit on Standalone? I was testing on the way home from work and it kept cutting my logs around 8 minutes. Get huffed, not that I know of, but send in a support ticket to support@hptuners.com. I believe that's the email. Let me double check. And let them know. This is in beta. Keep that in mind. So there's going to be a lot of stuff rolling out, changes-wise, upgrades, things like that. Comp Turbo makes them supposed to be really good. They use grease. So do you have to change it out? Like, do you have to re-grease it? Does it have a Zerk? Rocket Bear, welcome to the club. How bad is winter blend gas on knock? Schmidhead, it can be pretty bad. That stuff's nasty. It's a bad blend. Thanks, TJ. I appreciate it, man. I'm flattered. You know, as I said. And I've been excited. We've been talking since last month, and I've been excited to finally get everything ironed out. What does beta mean? There's an alpha, or there's a release software. Here, I'll just show you. If you go over to the downloads tab, let's go to the tune screen. Go over to hptuners.com, go over to the downloads tab. You've got two options. You've got the download VCM suite with the stable version, then you've got the beta over here. You have to have the beta version. And as I said, if you want more details, if you jump over to tuning, if you spell it right, tuning101.com, right here, we've got a brand new video out that came out this morning on how to set it up. Goes through upgrading the firmware, all that stuff. So, you know, and that's the thing with winter blend gas. That's one of those things that that's bad about copying the high octane table over to the low octane table, because you don't have that protection if you do get a bad tank of gas. That's what we're talking about. Having that buffer where it can pull some timing, and the adaptive knock will actually kind of learn towards there and keep it filtered out. And so if you're getting 3 or 4 degrees of timing initially on a bad tank of gas, it's going to dial that back until that's gone, and it's going to stay in that low octane table, because anytime after a while it tries to start shifting back towards the high octane table, but soon as it gets any indication of knock, you're not going to have to get back to 4 degrees. It's going to say, okay, we're still on a bad tank of gas, start shifting back. It oscillates kind of back through there. Zerk fittings, water cooled as well. Dude, that'd be awesome for rear mounts. Not having to deal with the oil scavenging. What up, Jim White? Ryan, I've got quite a few videos out there. If you go into the quick tuning tips playlist, there's some on how to differentiate between real knock and false knock. There's a couple things that you can do. Yeah, mid-30s is reasonable on a, without getting on too crazy of a cylinder air mass motor. You are correct. Yes, this is the feature that everybody's been waiting for on the Pro set, the ProLink features. Safe amount of time to run on 7 pounds of boost, 9.9 to 1 compression ratio. I'd probably start around 22 and work up from there. TJ, 75% ethanol is all I've been able to find. That is probably correct. You're not going to find 80% or 85% ethanol unless it is tested and guaranteed ethanol. You have to realize the trucks that haul E85 also haul gasoline, and they often have residual gasoline in there, and whenever they are pumping it in. So, thanks, Little Chief. Thanks for showing up for the live show. Well, Andrew, show up in a couple of weeks whenever we do the MPVI2 giveaway. You can win one. Can I hook my 0300 wideband up to the MPVI2 easily? Yeah, John, you can use, with the 300300, you can use the serial to USB if you don't have the Pro features. Schmidthead, honestly, is now the time to trade in? Yes and no. It depends. Are you tuning anything that requires the MPVI2? Because short of that, you're probably fine on the One Pro, and you're talking about Gen 5 stuff and later. So 2015 and on is really whenever you're required to have a Pro, and some of the oddball imports and things like that. Scuba Sam, the car show, I've just gotten too busy. I'm going to wrap that up this weekend. So there will be a winners announced for the car show this weekend, I promise. So I got real busy on the Nova. I got too much done and just kept on going and going and going. Running MathTune right now. What kind of AFR Lambda should I target with 90% ethanol free or 90 octane? NA, it's always good. Start off with like 0.85, and you can probably go to 0.87 on a naturally aspirated setup. I'm just moving around a lot, Jim. I'm probably shaking my table too much. As I said, I am severely sleep deprived, and I'm afraid if I stop moving, I'll fall asleep on stream. You ever see a P59 tune just go to hell? No. But weirder things have happened. I mean, there could be a lot of times it could be something like an injector driver MK that's going bad. Is the Pro really worth it? I will say that now it is worth it. If you would have asked me 2 days ago, probably not. It was on the Patreon, super slow. It was a December car show, and I've just been meaning to draw the winners of it. I'm behind, as usual. I'm always behind. You guys know this. John, well, the eight Dodge credits should transfer into Universal credits at least, right? So that's something to ask about, because that would save you $200. I mean, not save you, but at least you're getting $200 out of it. Biker Boy, that is a good thing to find. And that's what you'll see often, specifically if it's on the bank of your wideband. If you suddenly start running rich for some reason, check for a misfire, because you're just not burning fuel. Want to go blower, meth, or flex fuel? That's the big thing, is accessibility to E85. Meth is real easy to keep around, especially if you run like a 30% blend or a blue windshield washer blend. Because you can go down to something like, well, you're in Texas though, right? You probably can't get the good stuff in Texas. You may have to mix your own. Hey, Ted. Papa Kragan, that just comes with time. Hey, Joshua. I've been looking at new project cars. I just can't. I have the hardest time to even consider a Ford. I'm so anti-Ford. I've looked at some. I even looked at some GT350s because I think it'd be fun to mess with a Voodoo. But then at the end of the day, it's got a blue oval on it somewhere, and I'm just like, oh. Oh, Ryan, thank you, brother. Ryan, have a nice purge. You should hold on to that GTO. Uh, they're going up in value now, man. Dude, I keep on kicking around the idea. I just don't, after doing all this work on the Nova, I just don't know if I want to get into a full build again, like a full swap. I would rather just get something that is a supported platform and start tuning. Biker Boy, I don't know. That's a good question. I would think if you can download the tune into Super Chips, you could edit the tune on the ECM, then download it from the ECM. I don't know how that works though. A 2021 GT you can grab for 1.2 million. 2021 GT what? Oh, GT, just the wherever the GT40s are. I had a GTO. And that's the thing is, Dirt Floor points out there, it's about your cylinder pressures, and so you got to take into account compression ratio, amount of boost, things like that, what your octane is. So as a rule of thumb, always start very low on the top end on your wide open throttle stuff and work your way up. Be safe. Timing is what gets you. Yeah, the Voodoo is one that kind of piques my interest. Is this true that the new Z06 is going to be a twin turbo flat plane crank? I've heard both. Roots blower. IAT is usually 141 heat soaked. Get some methanol injection on there. It's your friend. That cools off your charge temp so much. Hey, Atomic Pump. Good to see you, brother. That's probably because he bought it. It's already titled, and if once it's titled, it can't be sold for 3 years. Sources say an NA Z06. I may have looked at a couple Z06s. More evidence for an NA 5.5 flat plane. Okay, 5.5 flat plane, that will be a bad ass motor. Any thoughts on adding extra fuel to the back cylinders on a turbo 6-liter drag engine? John, if you are getting that down to the small details, I highly suggest running 8 EGTs and using that to do cylinder balancing. So that's the cheapest way still to do cylinder to cylinder fuel balancing. Throw EGTs in there, go out, pull a log. You can still use a bank wideband to verify that your general AFRs are in reason, and then look for hot cylinders and add fuel to those. Tuned a GT350 on a P1X and it got like 730 horsepower at 7 psi. That's crazy. Overhead cams on the Z06s. That would make sense, overhead cams. I was hoping that they were going to use the Blackwing motor with the little twin turbos and then put a flat plane crank in it. That's what I saw. That would not be twin turbo, but then I saw another one today saying that would be twin turbo and flat plane crank. Jim, yes, you can get some knock. It's not technically real knock from being overly rich. Excuse me, my bubbly water's bubbling up. I don't know that I'd necessarily call it common, but it can happen. What are the benefits of flat plane crank? Sounds better. The power delivery apparently is a little bit smoother also. See, Boosted Coyote's over here trying to sell me on getting a Ford. It's not going to happen. Bubbly water, spicy water, that's what we call it. And even manlier is it's watermelon. Don't forget we got our raffle going. Let me check, see how much time's going on here. Because we are going to shut this one down on time tonight. We went a little over, but as I said, I'm sleep deprived and I'm getting a little delirious. Yeah, you know, if you look at Katana, if you look at the GT350 dyno charts compared to something like a LS7, they just don't have the torque down there. Yeah, sure, they can spin up to 8,000 RPMs, but they just look so weak on the torque line. Yeah, because the balancing of the crank is even whenever it's flat plane, right? We got 15 seconds left. You didn't get into the raffle! Exclamation point, raffle! They do sound better, though. So, once again, as I said, big shout out to HP Tuners, our new sponsor for 2021. Check the description down below. Click the links, go over there, like their Facebook, subscribe to their YouTube if you haven't. Follow me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. I post pictures of stuff before I get videos out a lot of the time. So if you, you know, want to see some stuff that's going on behind the scenes, that's a good way of doing it. Francisco, I've not looked into the 7.3 at all. Yeah, those guys are awesome. I appreciate their support, and I'm excited for what we can get done this year. We're going to do some stuff. We're going to branch out. We're going to branch out, look at some other stuff. We're going to go out and start doing some stock tune reviews of different vehicles that aren't talked about a lot, and we'll draw comparisons between how all the different platforms on the backside. A lot of that stuff is the same, you know. I told him that. I said, hey, you know, I can be your guys' biggest critic sometimes, but that's at the end of the day, I'm still going to be making videos on HP Tuners because I love the platform. Dirt Floor, I'm the same way. I try to get better at it, but... Goblin build. Man, you guys are... I love your crazy minds. Well, as I said, it's all because of you guys. It's they wouldn't know about me if it weren't about, you know, from you guys. All you guys sharing the information, that stuff. And Vince, congratulations. You get one of my blown pistons. Makes a great doorstop or a paperweight. Ted, I think they're trying to expand out. And I think what's going on, this is just speculation on my part. I don't have any inside baseball knowledge or anything like that, but I think that they are trying to do further software development, and then on top of it, they're trying to expand on their vehicle support. Awesome LSX Motorsports, glad to hear it, man. Thanks for making it to the live show. Vince, is Vince still here? Vince, speak now or forever hold your peace. Question, buddies, 5.3 Gen 3 will start and then die sometimes. Sometimes it starts fine. Any thoughts? Check your temperature compensation. Make sure something's not off. Oh, there's Vince. There you go. Vince, shoot me an email with your address. I think I have your address, but shoot me an email anyways. I'll get it out on the next round of shipping things out. And as I said, keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled for the upcoming 40,000 stream. Probably be in about 2 weeks. We'll be giving away an MPVI2 thanks to HP Tuners. Of course, we'll be live streaming next week unless I am so close to starting the motor that I'm too busy to jump on Thursday night. And then we'll do a live stream. Maybe we can do a live stream first start. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But... John, haven't done the drawings for the car show yet, or haven't gone through and saw who won the car show yet. This weekend, I'll do it though. Intel LS Tune brings up a good point. Check injector tip temp offset, zero it out and see if that helps. It'll be under your fuel tab. So, live first start. There's no way that could go wrong. Knowing how the garage rolls, there's no way a live first start would go wrong. Hey, Ryan, thanks for signing up as a member, brother. So, but I am going to bed. You guys know the drill. Thanks for stopping by the garage. ABT, always be tuning. And go check out that new video I put out on standalone data logging. We will see you guys next week.